breaking news on the Nord Stream pipeline explosions. This is coming from the Washington Post, which exclusively reports that 3 months before saboteurs, still not yet identified, bombed the natural gas pipeline, the Biden administration learned from a close ally, a European ally that's not named in the Washington Post report, learned that the Ukrainian military had planned a covert attack on Nord Stream using a small team of divers who reported directly to the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian armed forces.
There was someone in your family who was no good.
So this is huge development. We're finding out about it because the Washington Post is reporting on this in connection with information that was posted by the Pentagon leaker on the Discord server. The Washington Post is not identifying which European allied country gave the U.S. government this information, although my understanding, if this information was just posted on Discord, I gather that anyone can find it if it's still there or was seen. So probably we will know who the European allied country is at some point. This suggests that the CIA, the U.S. government, was made aware of a plan by the Ukrainian military to attack the Nord Stream pipeline. Yeah. And German investigations are pointing that way.
Someone who embarrassed you. Uzbeks.
So there's a number of potential options on the table for how this went down. Maybe the U.S. government finds out Ukraine is planning this attack and says, stop that, don't do that, because we've got our own plan going on. Maybe there was some partnership between U.S. and Ukraine. Maybe a European country could have found out about something going down, told the U.S. and U.S. officials privately, like, yeah, we know that's happening. We have a hand in it. Or this is a possibility. I know it goes against what the Seymour Hersh report has alleged and all that, but I still think it is a strong possibility that the Ukraine military did exactly what was described in this report on their own without the go-ahead of the United States. That is also a possibility.
Someone who constantly took but never gave. Uzbeks.
New Washington Post report, they say that the Ukrainians had planned to attack the pipeline on the heels of a major allied naval exercise known as Ball Tops, which ran from June 5th to June 17th. Now, the accusation here is that they found out about this plan and that was not when it happened. Sy Hersh is saying that it was executed at that time, but it was a remote explosive, and so that's why it didn't get blown up at that time. But it is interesting to see some corroborating details. The Washington Post report also does loop in the reporting about the boat that was found with traces of explosives, which many people looked at skeptically because the boat didn't seem big enough or of the right type to execute this kind of mission, which I think is going to raise some questions about, you know, if we believe that the mainstream media has been playing a kind of intermediary role here, being overly trusting and reporting State Department narratives in this arena, then, you know, should this story also be looked at with skepticism? Is this a way to...
But they're getting there.
They're being forced
they're
to.
Getting
right?
there.
They're being forced to. I mean, some people are pointing out online that, you know, the U.S., if this aspect of the reporting is true, that the U.S. knew that it was a European non-Russian national, likely Ukrainian national, that that executed this explosion, and still insinuated at the time that it could have been Russia. Right? So really just think about what that means. It's one thing to want to cast aspersions on Russia just because it's politically advantageous when you literally don't know who did it.
I mean, that's the most favorable case for the U.S. is the U.S. was not involved, Ukraine did it, and even so, when it happened, despite having a report saying that Ukraine was plotting exactly this, still blamed Russia. And that is the best case scenario.
Experience has taught us not to make martyrs of our enemies, so leave them alone.
Uzbeks.
Don't give them money or matches.
Uzbeks.
And don't encourage them to gamble and drink. Uzbeks. They are the weak link in the great chain of socialism.